Hello, hello. Welcome back. All right. Just to catch everyone up. Hi, I'm Valgan. I do Udon related things for VR chat. I do some standalone Unity development. I have tools on the asset store and a few other things. But as we've been doing for the past couple weeks, we are focusing on a puzzle game kit for VR chat. So what we've set up so far has been kind of a ground platform button like you'd see in Portal, where you can place an object on it and triggers. We have a key that you can move into a specific spot. Here it's there we go, the door handle itself. So when you move that there, it opens up. We have this, which is a valve that, when rotated, bloop, will correctly open up the door and will close it when it's closed. That's set by the amount of turns in a circle that you can do here. And this is a simple button for toggling on and off. So when you click on this, it'll open this door and it will close it. And lastly, over here, we have a inconspicuous book on a shelf that when you click on it, it opens up like that and opens the door. So today I kind of had two ideas of stuff I wanted to add into this kit, because right now pretty much everything is just an animator on a door. But I'm curious if I should set up some more types of doors, because right now these doors just open to a set rotation and call that good. But we could have, say, sliding doors or other things. But with that, my other idea was either manually rotating this, so you have to grab it from a specific position and it'll like rotate towards your hand, or some kind of keypad. Excuse me. So that when you click on a you have to put in a key combination, so like 1 2 3 4, and that'll open up. I think that'll probably be the more interesting. Ooh, oh, excuse me. Had some snacks earlier, and I guess I must have breathed some of them in. Yeah, I think the keypad itself will be the more unique thing to kind of jump into and figure out. Excuse me. All right, so let's actually start out with just going ahead and making our keypad. So I'm going to open up the stuff here, because I haven't actually opened Blender yet, but let's get this cracked open. This is going to be a very, very basic keypad. Like everything else here, you can see how simple this key is, and it's probably not going to be much fancier than that. All right, so let's have it sized roughly correct for this door. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. And each one of these will be our we need a last row. Right. This needs to go 50% of the way, is that it? No, if we want this to be minus 1 point. Oops. Minus 0.1233. No, what is this? Okay, let's just undo this a bit. And instead, how do we split this into 4 nicely? Honestly, I'll just do this. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm spending way too much effort on this. Hey, it's this guy. How's life treating you? Pretty good, actually. Yeah. It's been pretty good. I picked up some additional work here as of late. That's keeping me busy, but still managing to pop in and work on these kind of fun projects. Hopefully the same can be said for y'all. 0.0 foot, no, 0.0075. There we go. Did you finish that FPS VR chat module? Okay, so I'm taking a momentary hiatus on that because I ran into some networking issues. It was working fine at lower populations, so like 10 and fewer players, but I was having some issues with my networking implementation of it above 15, 20 players, and realistically speaking, I'm not sure how to resolve the issues I was running into with that. I'm still planning on having excuse me. I'm still planning on working on it in the future, but for the moment, that's taking a little bit of a backseat. I'm also getting some other work and some stuff figured out right now, so unfortunately, it's just been a little bit deprioritized. You need to use sync lists for Unity networking. So the big issue that we have is we are limited by the networking options that VRChat gives us, which are their wrappers for Photon features. And we have the ability to send events to other players, and we very recently got the ability to send events with variables to other players, which, yes, that was not a thing we could do before. And the other big one is syncing variables. So you can be able to tell a player, hey, I have changed this variable, distributed out to everyone else. And for the most part, this works, but VRChat's handling for this becomes very difficult, I'll put it, once it gets to be higher player counts. And that is unfortunately what we are limited to in pretty much all VRChat stuff. Oops. Doesn't it rely on unit regardless? So we don't get any of those kind of implementations. If you're doing networking for VRChat, it has to go through VRChat's Udon implementation of networking. And Udon in general isn't really built for really fancy, complicated systems. It's built for being able to toggle a door on and off, stuff like that. So anything beyond that is possible, but you're pushing your luck in terms of feature compatibility. So any of the syncing that you get is specifically VRChat's implementation of a wrapper for some Photon features. That's pretty as far as you can get with a lot of it. So right now I'm actually just going ahead and separating out all of these buttons to be separate objects. This technically isn't the most ideal way of doing this, but it's the one that'll be the, frankly, easiest to implement for VRChat especially. So can I batch set the origins to these centers? Clear scale. Shift S. Set origin to geometry. There we go. That's it. Perfect. That is exactly what I was looking for. All right, it might be a little bit in front of what I was looking for, but I can adjust this pretty easily.
If you want to learn Python for a career in data science,
Oh my god,
IT,
ads.
or engineering,
Ads? What? No. Hold on. Why are there ads in the middle of my Nintendo music? Hold on. I need to resolve this immediately. This is unforgivable. Alright. Alright. Switch accounts to the one where I have Google Premium, or whatever it's called. There we go. Perfect. Using the network object RVC cross some fun sessions. So again, that's not really how VRChat doesn't use the really basic default implementations. They use a lot of their own wrappers for Python stuff. Not Python. Oh crap. I'm blanking on the word that I was just saying. But yeah, they have like serialized field isn't a real thing for Udon. Udon is its own compiler and all that stuff. Yeah, Photon, that's it. But all of the sync variables and stuff are handled by VRChat. Like, we can tell it to use Udon sync, but how it syncs variables isn't really something we have control over for that. Let's see. 3. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, okay, right. Y plus 0.01001 minus 0.0005. There we go. And object-wise, grab y plus 0.00. There we go. Yeah, so it's less of a, this is something that's difficult to implement, and more of a, I'm really reaching the bounds of what VRChat's design for networking is allowing for. Because VRChat has a lot of stuff that you can do for it, but they're very limiting on how much data that you can send at once. And that begins to cause some problems pretty quickly when you're trying to send, frankly, an exorbitant amount of data. At least as far as VRChat's concerned. But yeah, the network events and everything like that are fine, but they limit how many times that you can send one per frame. No, not per frame, per second. That's it. And there's a lot of complications to trying to network things for VRChat specifically, that coming in with pre-existing ideas and information on how Photon works unfortunately doesn't really help you. You're really gonna have to figure out VRChat's handling on a lot of this stuff, and it's not great. All right, Let's actually get back to this thing. So we are changing the font on this text because this one does not look like a 1. It looks like a rectangle. What's a good font? Cascadia? Let's go with Corbel Bold. Ugh. No, let's not go with Corbel Bold. Hmm. Okay, yep, that works fine. All right, let's do that. Let's center this. Let's just give this a dark color. Yeah. So if you're going to be doing anything for developing for VRChat, you're essentially going to have to download their custom launcher called the VRChat Creator Companion. So if you don't have that, you'll have to install that as well. That's how they distribute the SDK packages and everything. And you might as well just do it now before you download it, because it can automatically download the correct version of Unity for it. Wait, they changed it? What do you mean? Oh, there we go. Size, you need to be much smaller. 0.05. Let's just check. Yeah, that's been about 4 years ago now. They have their own custom launcher for handling all of the packages, and that comes with their own package manager solution as well for VRChat packages. They ended up having to do it that way because they wanted to be able to properly update packages and stuff, but Unity is very restrictive on how you handle package saving between anything, realistically. So if you're loading a package in Unity, you have to do it the way Unity wants you to, or you have to do it outside of Unity. And that ended up being a whole licensing thing that eventually got us to where we are now. All right, this number does not need to be this accurate. So let's drop the resolution. The resolution of 1 is probably fine. In fact, it's probably more than we need. Oh, yeah, I should do that in center. But yeah, I think I touched on it briefly, but I am planning on returning to that project. It's just taking a little bit of a hiatus while I kind of crunch out some other ones. For example, while I do really like working on it, and it's the kind of thing I'm really enthused by, I'm not really getting paid to work on it at the moment. So I kind of have to focus on the ones that are actually getting me rent money at the moment. Hello, I'm feeling... No, I am not. I'm actually feeling quite good, yeah. Doing a little bit of some setup here for a numpad system for the puzzle game kit that I'm working on. It's just a little bit annoying. Honestly, This probably would have been way easier if I just did a texture. Actually, screw it. This would still be easier if I just did a texture. Yeah, again, I'm sorry, Anonymous, but it's not going to be a easy fix because the issue just comes up against a lot of VRChat's networking, and I have to slightly change my implementation in the one magical way that it needs to be changed. As for putting up ads, you definitely can. I just don't really make worlds. Like I make a lot of tools and stuff that people like using, but I don't actually make VRChat worlds or games. I just kind of make a lot of the tooling to make said worlds and games. Alright, just getting Photoshop launched up here. And of course it opens up on my vertical monitor, not my right thing. Come on. And there we go. All right. We are in Photoshop. So, ba, 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 ba. All right, let's have inner. Oh, what am I doing? I am spending way too much time on this, actually. This is not what I need to be focusing on. Let's see, 256 by 256. 12. Let's put a inner shadow. No, I want the contour bevel. Okay, okay. Alright, inner shadow. Still use that. Down. Okay. Copy a layer style. Bonk. What font is this? Insana Burger with cheese. Right, that's not the one that I should be using right now. Let's go with HXM. Always a fan of that. Actually, wait, do I have any console-themed ones? Consolas. There we go. This will be a good fit. Is there a way to center align vertically a text box in Photoshop? Or am I just gonna have to match it like this? Which is like fine, it's just a little annoying to lay out. Come on, Photoshop. Don't. There we go. All right. Oh, let me know how the music is as well. So if it needs to be turned up or turned down. Because again, I had to swap to a different application once I started getting ads. Okay, so if I do a coloration effect layer, does that affect the... It does, okay. Yeah, let's just go with a desaturated blue. Maybe pop some contrast. Actually, no, this is fine. What am I doing? I'm spending far too much time on the numbers of this thing, and we haven't even gotten to the udon. Alright. Let's see. Puzzle kit. Create. Folder. Textures. Show in Explorer. Nope. Texture. Copy file path. Paste. Numpad. Texture. No. Just numpad. Bang. Alright, now we head back to Blender. Let's make a new material and call it numpad. Actually, wait, I need this background to actually be opaque instead of transparent. Alright, now I can export that. Image texture. Open. Let's go to... oh, where is this actually? Okay, this is up one. This is textures, numpad. There's a way to mass assign materials to objects. I would gladly listen in to figure out what that is. For now, I do not believe that is the case. So I'm just going to manually do this. Alright, we're just going to do a project from view bounds and get started with that. Scale X, grab Y, nope, X. Scale X again. All right. Let's do a inset up here. Oh. Maybe not all of it. Just a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and parent these to that parent object. Now the fun part, renaming everything. Numpad. Num B space. Copy that. We'll do this basically on repeat. Nope, I need that to be 6. Nine 0 C. Can I put an angle bracket in a file name? I've never tried. Guess so. Cool. All right. Let's give this the old export. And back to Unity. We'll find our model only slightly weird. Oh wait, everything's actually in the right spot. Alright. Over here. Have another door. Alright, so scripts. We'll have a new udon chart for puzzle keypad. And while that's setting up here, actually go ahead and drink some water. There we go. So I can go ahead and add a sphere collider to each of these. We could add a box collider, but if we're going to have a bunch of them, we'll just have a nice cheap trigger sphere collider. Alright, let's grab our stuff here. Bonk, bonk. Go to our puzzle toggle. This is a event center. That. So let's see here. We need to do a few things. We need to populate a string of No, let's just have it be an integer, since the only things that we can type in here are numbers. So have a public int key password equals 1 2 3 4, and we'll put a oh no, but we want to this should probably be a string comparison, I think, because if we want it to be 0 0 5 0, like 0 1 2 3, then actually, what would be the best solution there? I think we can probably just go with this for now and do our comparisons later. So let's have a max value range 0 9 9 9 9. That's probably actually going to be kind of annoying in the actual editor because you'll get a slider for it. I actually want it to be a slider. I just want to clamp those values. But I think that'll be fine. Yeah, okay. Is active synced. Yep. Okay, let's head back in. We want to have a Public. Oh, no, it really has to be a string, huh? Hmm. Yeah, this'll have to be a string for comparison. We'll just have a header above this. This should be a set of 4 numbers. Okay. From there, we'll need to have a event for a public void key pressed, and let's have an enum for all the key options. Enum keypad key option. Sure. Key 1 and 2, 3, 0 C and confirm. Clear and confirm. Keypad key option key. Switch key. All right, so we want to append in public string submitted password. You know, I think it actually makes more sense to do an int array. Or, let's do a byte array. Byte array. New. 1, 2, 3, 4. Public int last index. This can be private. Private int last index. Oops, make it 1. If last index is greater than or equal to password length. Turn. Actually, no. We only care about that for any of these first ones. You've received a new badge. 4 years. Joined the VR chat 4 years ago. Alright. We don't want you appending any additional ones, so let's do a void add key byte value. Last index plus plus submitted. What did I call it? User. No, what did I call this? It's just right up here. Oh, I thought I made one. Submitted password. Right, I don't use start. I have a override for init. So we'll do submitted password equals new byte array of length Key password. Password. Nope. Key password dot length. Class index equals key value. I know I'm doing this checkup here, but since we're incrementing here, yeah, I think honestly putting that increment there is the smart one. Hello, Lumi. Welcome, welcome. We're actually working on a keypad here. I'm actually only now realizing my IDE wasn't actually centered on my screen. But yeah, we're doing a kind of a numpad for putting in a password for some stuff. You see that, you know the kind. I spent way too long making the model and textures for it. It really should have just been a texture and not a model while we're testing stuff out. But wait, I have you have what? What did I say? Alright. Private void clear input. Said I've always no, you've seen numpads before on like security doors and stuff like that. Those kind of things. Excuse me. Alright. Last index equals -1. Submitted password. Password dot length. Submitted password. I equals 0. Yes, this should work. All right, so add key, and private void confirm. So do a clear input because we'll need to no matter if it's successful or not. So let's do a clear input. Sounds cool. The same. No puzzle. Escape room is complete without a number bed. True. Key option. Key is not implemented on this. Context this. What do you actually spell it? E, okay. Okay, clear input, clear key, confirm. So let's do just confirm there. Let's see, add key, clear input. We need a text mesh pro for displaying. Are they... Alright, sorry Tamagotchi life, but you're driving me insane. Let's see. There we go. Do field or text mesh pro huge UI. Maybe we can just do a normal text mesh pro. So using mobile numbers. Yeah. Label. Void update. All right. So come up with a string builder. Output equals new string builder. Output dot for submitted submitted password dot length. Output dot append submitted password I. Text. Nope, I just want dot text equals output dot to string. What should this be? I should do a full loop check, so come on. Nope, there we go. If submitted password I does not equal key password I will succeeded. It's false. Break. Because if there's anything that's wrong, we want to immediately break out of this loop and not update succeed. Actually, let's have it default to true, and when it finds an error, it does that. Oops. So if succeeded, then we trigger this event sender. Okay. How do we do this again? Right. So we want actually set trigger succeeded. I think that's the easiest option there. Yeah, I could use ternary in a few spots, but I think this is pretty legible. Okay, this needs to be moved up here. And honestly, these two can be made private. Let's rename them to do that. Then a password. All right, so puzzle keypad set up correctly. Now, we need a puzzle keypad key or button. Good question. But I don't want to set that every time because, like, yeah, like that literally wouldn't work for this, because if at any point, like, this is true, then we don't care. We only care whether or not it's false. So we need to break out of it immediately and then do that. Like, yeah, so that wouldn't work. Like, this is the one that we're doing. All right. I want 3D object text. Oh, sure. I guess I haven't used Text Mesh Pro in this project yet. Oh, Lord. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Four. It's time to 5. Oh, font size. What? Oh, okay. Wonder why it didn't let me type that in. Okay, so let's center this. Yeah, center that. Will increase the character spacing. 15 is good. I think the fonts should probably be a bit smaller. Yeah, this is working. Nah, I think I'll do that. Okay, so let's go back to our numpad, put in the label. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Puzzle, keypad, key. A wonderful script name if I've ever done one. Alright, this will not be an event center or anything. This will just have a reference to the thing and then call it. So serialized field for private puzzle keypad. Keypad. Interact. Bonk, bonk. So I could go ahead and give this the Udon behavior sync mode none. And give the serialized field for the private key option key. And then they'll do keypad dot key pressed. And that's just a one line, so we can just go ahead and do that. Clear input, confirm. Yeah, okay. Oh, true. Yeah, I don't need a lowercase on that. I guess this would be the smartest one. Gives you less indenting. Let's do that. Update label. This needs to be done a lot. So that'll be done there. Add key. Let's actually put a space there. Clear input, label. So yeah, this needs to be done during clear inputs and confirm and add key. So I think that's everywhere. Yeah, confirm just calls clear input. All right. Perfect. So let's go ahead and add in our button stuff. Keypad key. Reference that. Okay, so the reason I'm using VRChat's interact here is because I want this to use VRChat's like avatar dynamics for like Fizbone contacts and stuff when that's eventually released. But for now, it's fine. Good enough. Let's see. So that'll be 0, 1. Okay. This is just going to be a little bit of annoying repetition, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we have the key confirm and key clear. All right. Well, let's go ahead, hide the Text Mesh Pro icon, and hit play. Let's see if any of this works. We did in fact just do a whole lot of stuff with no testing. So let's see if that was a horrendous mistake. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. So all of those appended in the number 1. So I think I know why that's the case, because I'm pretty sure I didn't change any of that. Yeah, these all just add 1. 2, 3, 4. All right. This kind of makes me wish I had a monospace font in Unity by default, but actually, I wonder if there's a setting for Text Mesh Pro to use monospace. There probably is, but that is not what I wanted. Yeah, won't deal with that right now. So let's just go ahead and, oh, one other thing that I noticed. Update label should be called during init so that it clears it out right away. All right, so let's go ahead and hit play. We'll walk over to it and we'll type in the wrong password first. So 4, 3, 2, 1, confirm, nothing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, confirm, nothing. That is because we didn't actually attach it to the door. It's just attached visibly. All right. Numpad, event targets. Which door is this? It's that one. Okay, so let's just put it there. Event targets. All right. Bonk. Good to see the actual labels working. So the handling for the toggle should be fine. Let's just go verify this. Okay, confirm. Yeah, it doesn't do a thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bonk. Yay, and it opens. So if I hit again, yep. All right. And it only works with our password. Perfect. That actually works really well. Let's see. What do we have here? There should be a set of 4 numbers. Yep. Key password, submitted password. Yeah, I guess we can hide submitted password. That doesn't need to be visible anymore. Yeah, I think that's it, aside from getting some sound effects put in. But I mean, I think this whole system could use some sound effects here and there. Also, this almost certainly is awful to use in VR, which is one of the reasons that I am hoping to plug this into the Avatar Dynamics system when it's out for Worlds. Eventually. Hey, supposedly they've got testing for it. They've mentioned it in the dev updates, so eventually. Password label. Make this slightly darker. VR soon TM. Very, very correct. Alright, well, we got numpads working. Still connects to a door, so it would be nice to come up with something that we could have go other than a door. But for now, doors work quite well. Let's see here. Actually, I think for sanity's sake, let's have this be 1/2 meter. And make sure that works. I think 1/2 meter is the shortest you can have a an interact in for VR users. This feels like a whole meter, but it's set to 0.5, but oh well. Yeah, so this should be fun. Let's go ahead and work on a version of this where you actually have to grab it. So, puzzle rotation gear, the puzzle rotation gear immersive. So, let's get some of this set up here. We're going to be inheriting a lot of the ideas from the puzzle rotation gear itself, but we're not going to use the way that it handled its syncing for this, because we're going to have a yeah, we can have a float that kind of handles the everything, and then we give them a float range. Is a min-max slider something that you can put on a Vector 2? I've done it for custom editors before, but I don't think I've done it for not custom editors. Vector 2 is just 2 floats, so yes. Well, I mean, for the attribute, like, can you do a min max? That's for the post-processing. Right. Yeah, I don't think there's a default min-max slider range for that. So I'd probably have to use it through a custom editor, which is fine, but it just means I won't be bothering with it right now. Yes, I know I could use 2 range sliders, but I was hoping to use the Unity has a min-max slider, which is really nice, and I was hoping to kind of use that. Let's under base. All right, let's go ahead and make a duplicate of this. Valve. All right, you need your sphere collider and that removed. So the general idea is there will be a pickup that gets placed here. So pickup root, and the actual pickup. So pickup. Gets a sphere collider, a pickup, it's set to kinematic. Well, sorry, I'm just looking at this inspector and knowing what happened when they set this up. Okay, circulator, 0.1. Yeah, that looks good. W vector 2, put min-max. But the only min-max I was seeing was from the post-processing set. So I assumed it wouldn't be something you can do. Target range. Min max. Yeah, the only min max is from the post-processing set. Is that the right one? It doesn't feel right. Yeah, then change anything. Yeah, even then, probably not what what I'll end up doing. I think I'll have a target degrees and a target delta that you can be off from. Editor GUI, but that's an editor class. Whoops. Yeah, I'm not convinced that's real, so I'll just go with this setup instead. Thanks for looking into it, but I'm just gonna move forward with this. So float target angle floats 90. Float max angle delta 10. Alright, so public bool. We're gonna have a bool to show whether or not the thing is being held. So is held. Yeah, that's fine. Post late update. If it's held as false, return. Otherwise, actually, does set trigger have? It doesn't have checking. Okay, that's fine. We'll have a public transform rotation route, and we'll have a public transform for our pickup target. So what we're essentially going to do here is we're going to look at the thing, but just cancel out 2 of the rotations, because the only one that we care about is Z, I think. We'll find out. So rotation route dot look at will we need a world up? I don't think we will. I think we can just do this and then do up to 3 rotation Euler rotation root dot Euler angles. And then oh wait, no, we can't do Euler angles because that's a world space. Local Euler angles. There we go. Rotation root dot local Euler angles equals that. All right, this might not work, but we'll find out. Um, yeah, because again, you can do a min-max slider in an editor. Like you can do that in an editor. That's not part of the runtime stuff. That has to be in a custom inspector. Rotation root, and for the pickup. I'm noticing this isn't doing anything. Rotation root, look at pickup target. Okay, well, let's just do this and make sure that works. Might be a bit wonky because it's a child. Oh, this is really doing a whole lot of nothing. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, so it's going to be doing that since it's a child. So we're going to have to rearrange this a little bit. There we go. And then valve visual. Remove that component. This goes up here. Base values. So let's just do this. I want to see what angle we're getting out of it by default. Yeah, okay, so it's going to do that. Let's go ahead and do this. It's going to be trying some numbers here for a bit, see what works. Alright, valve, check, pickup. Alright, so that's what I expected. Yeah, so if I'm clearing out the X and Y, the Z is the one thing that we're not getting. So rotation root dot forward. That's almost certainly gonna be horrible. Actually, let's do transform dot forward, since this is on the parent. Bonk. Well, it's certainly doing something. Actually, this isn't too off from what we wanted to do. It isn't what we wanted to do, but it's not too off. Man, vector math is like the one thing I like particularly suck at. All right, let's actually think about what's happening here. So I've just been kind of fiddling here, but I think I have an idea. So we want to get the pickup target's position in local space. And we are canceling out the z-axis, I think, is what this orientation is. Yeah, that's z. I know z normally, but I didn't know if any of this was rotated. All right, so we'll get a vector 2 pickup pause equals transform dot inverse transform point. And we'll pass in pickup target dot position. Now, this ignores the z, so we're just getting this one. Now we want to do vector 2 direction equals pickup pause minus rotation root dot local position, because that's local to this. We need to cast this as a vector 2. Rotation equals local rotation equals Quaternion angle axis, is that it? Creates a rotation which rotates. How do we make a transform like rotate in a direction, like to face a vector? Unity transform rotate towards vector. Quaternion look rotation. All right, let's see if any of that was what we wanted. All right, go to the valve, check that on, pick up. All right, well, that has gotten us nothing. Oh wait, it wasn't checked on. Did I check it off? Yeah, I think I might have to fiddle with some of the Cortinians. I see. This is all right. I think I'm just going to cheat with some easy transforms. Okay, so this we're going to angle up 90 degrees. So this is going to be our look at root, and that's going to have our valve visual in it. So that's going to be what looks at this pickup position. Consider using vector 2 signed angle to get the angle between the handle and the vector 2 unit Y. What does that mean? The computing an angle axis rotation on the axis of rotation of the I think I've lost you. What you're saying is probably smart. I just don't know what's up. Then computing an angle axis rotation around the axis of rotation of the wheel. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to do this one. So I'm just gonna have, yeah. So we're gonna have this just do a look at. Look at. Pick up target. And rotation root dot. Local Euler angles. Yeah, I can't just set Z here to be 0, right? Yeah, no. Angles equals angles dot Z equals 0. Then rotation roots dot local Euler angles equals angles. Bonk. Ah. All right, not quite right. Actually, I think doing X and Z solves that. It looks well, it's certainly interesting. I wouldn't quite say that one is perfect, but it's certainly we're getting there. We are getting there. All right, check on. Oop, yeah, that didn't work. Actually, it's almost working. Okay. Okay. So I ended up rotating this 90 degrees. Because look at root is the thing that's getting rotated, so I can't have any pre-existing offset for that. So having this at 90 degrees actually solves it. All right, that will be our solution for now. I do want to read this value as it's rotating. All right, 180. Lock that, go here. Oh, really? It's from 0 to 360. Usually when I've done these in the past, it's negative 180 to positive 180. Okay. Fascinating. Alright, rotation gear immersive pickup is going to be our next script. So, puzzle rotation gear immersive pickup. None. We have a serialized field for our private immersive rotation gear on pickup. We're gonna have to fix a few things with this for syncing, but we'll get there. Let's just do it. Void on pickup. Come on, please. Did I just lose my autofill? Oh, there we go. On pickup. True. Public. Let's just do on drop. Excuse me. Oop, how'd that get duplicated? There we go. Alright, so is held equals value. The reason I'm not just writing is held here is because we're going to be handling some ownership events during this, so syncing is proper. On drop also needs to do transform local position equals vector 3 0. That way it drops back to the position it was at. Actually, that's not going to work. For a few reasons, but yeah, so we're gonna have to, okay, so pick up drop point, and this is just going to be here. So our pickup route doesn't need to exist anymore, but our pickup is going to need a few more features. Let's go ahead and drop the valve in there, and a transform reference to drop point. With position, actually this will just be position now. There we go. That way when you release it, it'll go back to where it always was. Yeah, there we go. Always moving to the exact position it was at. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because a lot of times these kind of things you want to rotate multiple times, but this system is pretty focused on now keep track of the amount of rotation. Exactly, yeah. That's what I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to cache that if that's what we want. Yeah, okay. So we'll have a, let's just have it be public for now. So public float, total rotation. And a private float for last rotation. Float current rotation equals, let's just do 0 here. Move all this down here after our calculations. Okay, so this will be angles.y and total rotation plus equals current rotation minus last rotation, and last rotation equals current rotation. Okay, so we will watch this number in the inspector as we turn this thing around. Don't make me turn this thing around. And we'll see if that works. All right, currently at 0. Well, that's not at all correct. I really thought this would get us the delta for that. Well, let's try it the other way. We couldn't see what it said. Yeah, okay, so right, because it was behind my head. So what it was saying is essentially the raw rotation value. So it was just saying like 350 when I was almost at a full circle, which is not correct. So either I have some of these backwards or I might have to completely rethink this. Let's go over here. Yeah. So that's also just okay. So total rotation is going to be accumulated over the rotational differences between right now and previously. Neural angles Y is the only thing that we've been working with. I really feel like this should be plus equals current rotation minus angles dot Y. Well, okay, not angles dot Y, but like last rotation. Yeah, so angles dot Y, which is the current updated rotation, minus the last one, should get us the delta that's changed in the past frame. And if we just add that delta into this, this should be our total accumulated value. Which is the part that I'm confused by, because that makes sense in my head. And it was wrapping around to 0. Oh, it was wrapping around to 0. Oh, right. Okay. So all right. Crap. How do I get around that? Because once it goes above 360, it goes back to 0 and goes up. Well, 360 and 0 are the same value. So when it's suddenly jumping down to 0, it's wiping our whole setup. I'd say if you take the angle between the current and previous vector, and then, you know, that probably makes sense. We have this float value, but mathf.delta angle will compute the shortest angle between two angles. Yeah, okay. Well, everything's being calculated from like a float, so it's just one value. Is there a mathf.delta? Oh, there is a mathf.delta angle. Okay. Where the error would build up over time, though. Well, we'll see how this looks. So given input 5 degrees and 355 degrees, we'll return 10 degrees. Okay. Well, let's see if that works. Alright, currently at 0. Okay. This seems to be working. Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. Yeah, that's working. The only kind of annoyance is that the way I have this set up, visually inverts it. So I'm wondering if I should visually invert it again, or... Yeah, because this is the 0. But I think just doing... Whoops. Oh, we've... There we go. Alright, after some brief gimbal locking, I think this is working. What we will want to do now is lock it between a min and max rotation. So that's 3, 6, 9. This should be roughly 1,000. Yeah, minus 1,000. There we go. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's have a in a max angle. So min angle in rotations. Actually no. We'll have a public float max rotation count. And that will just be multiplied against 360. And then we'll have target rotation count. Let's do full open, so 4. 30 is fine. But how do we clamp this? Actually, wait. angles dot y equals total rotation. And now we put in our clamping. Rotation equals math f dot clamp. 0. Wait, no, the value goes in first. So total rotation 0 and max rotation count times 360. All right, all right. Let me write our real angle here. And there. Ah. Hydration. I can't read the word valve without thinking of the company. Like, it's just like one of those words that's just a name now for me. Well, okay. Let's undo a few things that I did earlier. So, because obviously we broke something. Actually, let's just have it start at the bottom. That makes sense. Look back up at the valve. All right, we have certainly broke something. What did I do? Yeah, I mean, valve is also a word that doesn't go on the thing that it is. Like, you don't see a valve with the label valve on it. Just looking at a valve tells you it's a valve. Whereas the company named Valve, we call it that because they put the word valve everywhere. All right, so that didn't work. We need a clamped rotation instead of a total rotation. Spooky says hi. Welcome, welcome. It's mostly working, but it's including the delta for the clamped section. So if I go too far back and then start moving forward, it calculates the whole section there. So I have to do this clamped rotation here, and that will go here. No, there is just a random suspicious negative in here that's making it work. I am very smart. Yeah, let's figure this out. Maybe I should just move this next to spawn. All right. There we go. 3, 4, and it stops. Awesome. I think we have a fully working valve. Thank God, because this could have gone on a lot longer than this. All right, let's get the actual calculation done. So we'll do, let's see, how do we check is active on this? Thunder base, we have a is active. for that. Okay. If is active, raw, else. Let's see. So we want to check to see if it's not in range here. So here we'll check to see if it's in range and enable. So if clamped rotation it's greater than total actually, let's just compute this up here. Public float. Max rotation angle calculates that. Is greater than max rotation angle minus delta, and let's do target. That's it. We don't need max here, but we want target. Clamp rotation is greater than target angle minus delta, and clamp rotation is less than target rotation angle plus delta. Nope. Then we do set active. Wait, set trigger? Yeah, set trigger true. And then we do the opposite here, where it's less than, greater than, and or set that to be false. All right, so now we have to attach the door. Door. There we go. So now we should be able to come over here, spin this 4 times and have the door open, and then unspin it and have the door close. Hey, the door opened. Hey, it closed. Oh my god, it works perfectly. Oh, man. You'll love to see it. All right. Unfortunately, this is a... how do I want to handle this? Because this is just a single synced float, so I guess we could manual sync it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Clamped rotation, I think, should be the synced thing. So, put on synced. Where do we want this? Okay. We got the owner. Do it. Actually, does this class have local player in it? Yes. So if local player dot is owner game object. Did I click with that already? No, I don't. All right. Else. I think this should happen towards the end, because a lot of these calculations need to be... Actually, no. A lot of this can be done in the ownership, and everything else is just our float that we expose it. Just an exposed float variable between 0 and telling you how spun the valve would be. Yeah, well, since we can spin it multiple times, we'll just have it be above. It's doesn't need to be anything fancier. If we did just care about visuals, then you could probably pretty easily wrap things into a byte and just remap that to 0 to 360. Because I doubt people are caring about that precision loss for turning a valve. But, it's fine. Okay. We're right. Yeah. All right. We only care about the is helped locally. No, we should probably sync that so you can't pick up the other thing. There's a lot of ways that we could have that work. Oh, what would be the best though? Because we don't want people to be picking up the object to rotate the valve if someone is already doing that. But I didn't want to sync the thing itself. So we could just sync the is held, the bool here. And doing so, yeah, doing so we can then use this to enable and disable the collider. Let's go with that. I think that would probably be the cheapest option because we can, or we can just have it be, yeah, okay. Let's have a reference for this. Nope, we want a VRC pickup. And pickup dot pickupable equals actually no. Bool is owner. Just do the is check here. All right, so pickup pickupable will equal okay, let's just do the if statement and then I can shrink it down. So if is owner, else during else pickup dot pickupable will equal not is held. Is owner pickup dot pickupable equals true. That's just gonna be true. Wait. When do we want to do that? How do I want to sync this while it's in progress? Because I could just turn it to be continuous sync. But continuous sync will probably break the networking handling. Because I don't currently have checks against old data. I could do that. Yeah. Protected bool. Settable bool is active cached. So if is active cached equals is active, return. Otherwise, is active cached equals is active. That'll solve that. So now we can go ahead and do continuous sync mode, which will allow us to do clamped rotation udon sync type of smooth. Linear probably is the smartest one. Maybe smooth. These have always been a little bit weird when I've tested them out, because linear is just doing a linear interpolation, but smooth is like some fancy schmancy smoothing setup they've got going, which I'm not too familiar with. Yeah, so in that case, put the is held check in here, since the rotation stuff will still have to smooth out after overtime there. I think that'll be this. Smooth is using an easing curve. Yeah, but I've fiddled around with it and I can't tell what easing curve they're using. Okay, last rotation, yep. Alright, let's fix some of our references here. Header settings. Header readout and header references. References I like having first. References above all else don't need to be public. So, oops. Serialized field for private. Rename this to _r _p and _p. Actually, yeah, a lot of this stuff doesn't need to be. Yeah. Just go ahead and do that. Just for consistency, I'll move the udon synced to after the serialized field. I think from there, that should be... Yeah. Wow, I did just realize it is 6 o'clock now. Alright, I'll do a little bit of quick tests here, just to make sure the networking on this does in fact work. I was wondering why I was getting hungry all of a sudden. But yeah, very quick test. I do have somewhere I need to get to after this. But Alright, this is a locked inspector. Alright, so rotation route is our lookout route. Pickup, target, bonk, and our pickup itself will be that. Alright, let's verify here in the inspector, well, in the editor that everything works. Then I'll boot up 2 clients and make sure it works. Yeah, everything seems to be working still. And let's move over to VRChat proper. Test build, do build and test. Alright, this is going to be doing the building, and the moment that's done, I'll swap over to the display capture instead of auto switch. Alright. Guess I should test networking on this too. Yeah, okay, I'll have to fix that. But over here, let's watch it. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm missing part of how I was syncing stuff. So where is something? Puzzle interact toggle. Set trigger. I might have to set the ownership during the pickup event of something. Does it work better if the left one does it? Doesn't do anything if the left one does it. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually. Seems all of the syncing here is broken, which means likely something else. Alright, so maybe my thing is working. This local test is just bugged. I will find out another day. But, well, thanks for everyone stopping by. This was definitely a bit more of a trial and error one than the last 2 streams, which were a bit more straightforward and following like the idea and plans of everything. Who knew that things that rotates towards your hand in VR are complicated? I knew this. Yeah, it was obvious. But yeah, a little bit of fill-in with this off stream, and we should get this up and working. And hopefully, I'll actually remember to post it to freaking Patreon this week. My apologies. But yeah, thanks everyone. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.